Browns 24-3 winners. They finally win a home opener for just the second time since they came back in 1999. And we're going to start here, Mary Kay. They had a little bit of bulletin board material to work with when Jamar Chase during the week said he almost called them the elves. Jamar was asked about it after the game. Of course, he's never short for words, but it certainly served to motivate this Browns football team.
It really did, and it got a little heated after the game when Jamar was asked about it again, and he kind of doubled down and called them the elves again. So for the next meeting, there's still plenty of bulletin board material, but it wasn't just the elves comment. It was Cleveland is Cleveland, and that kind of built upon what Juju Smith-Schuster said back in 2020 before that Browns playoff game. So I think it's really boils down to respect. These guys, especially on defense today, wanted to kind of plant their flag and show that they are a defense to be reckoned with.
And Ashley, when he said it during the week, my first thought was, why is he doing this? Why is he poking the bear like this?
Yeah, I think I wrote in my storyline predictions for this game that this week was too quiet. So thankfully it was Jamar Chase, I think, that said something at that point. But I think overall, we talked about this during the week, I think the Browns were pretty muted, didn't want to play too much into it. I think that was a smart strategy going into the game. But even after the game, they didn't say too much. After we talked to Greg Newsome, he tweeted Cleveland is Cleveland, but he kind of kept it at that. Grant Delpit talked about, oh yeah, I'm friends with Jamar. He just likes to talk, that sort of thing. I did ask Grant, it looked like after the game, or Greg, I should say, that he kind of was motioning to Jamar about the elves comment, but he wouldn't even go there. I thought for the most part, the Browns were pretty much not really willing to start arguing with Jamar Chase back and forth, and it came off very much, I think, what a successful team kind of does in this situation. They went out, they got the win on the field, and they don't have to spend their time going back and forth with another team's receiver.
Yeah, and Mary Kay, the statement they made was very much on the defensive side of the football. They hit Joe Burrow all day today. The sack numbers probably could have been higher, but a ton of quarterback hits. I really want to see those pressure numbers on PFF when those finally come out. They were all over Joe Burrow. The back end played great. This is what Jim Schwartz's defense was promised to look like, and this is about as good a start as you can get.
Yeah, it lived up to the hype. It certainly did. I had a feeling that it would. I felt like I had been seeing this all summer long. This defensive front just ready to attack. He unleashed the dogs, my goodness. And they really lived up to their billing. Joe Burrow didn't have a chance. He also, as we know, coming off of a calf injury. So that played into it. I think the fact that I think these guys probably even used the fact that he just became the highest paid player in the NFL as motivation. So they had a lot to play for today.
Yeah, and Ashley, even Greg Newsome kind of admitted he had a little bit of a wow moment. I mean, these guys expected this defense to be good, but for it to look like this the very first time we see it, really impressive.
I mean, it just was fun. I think you kind of sensed that they had fun out there doing it. I think I asked Zedarius, did it kind of feel like being kids out on a playground again when you got guys coming in and out and moving all around and kind of doing everything they can to take advantage of what's in front of them. And I also thought it was really telling, Dan, that there was really no confusion among the Browns defense. We didn't see any of those communication breakdowns that kind of plagued them last year, but multiple guys said they were kind of fueled in game by seeing the Bengals offense get totally confused and overwhelmed at different points. So far it's worked, and I guess now as they put more tape out there, we see if that kind of continues to be an advantage.
Now, Deshaun Watson, not great with his arm today. Look, the weather was bad. It was rainy. I think that was a factor in Joe Burrow's performance as well. I don't think anybody expected it to be quite as bad as it was today on the rain front. But Mary Kay, Deshaun did run the offense effectively, and it was really his legs that did the damage today, including that first touchdown score, a 13-yard run that I guess he checked into, actually.
Yeah, you know what? It was the kind of performance where he had to overcome adversity, and there was plenty of it. You could see that he couldn't grip the ball, and neither could Joe Burrow. I mean, the passing game was woeful. It was raining really, really hard down here. And I will say that Deshaun did what he had to do. Again, as you mentioned, he had that 13-yard run. And he's going to be able to check into plays like that and check out of plays and run the show. And that's what makes Deshaun Watson special, and I think there will be plenty more of that. I don't think that this passing performance is indicative of the thrower that he's going to be this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to figure out, Ashley, because it was so difficult to throw the football. But again, that element of being able to run, those designed runs, some of the stuff that Jalen Hurts does, all of that, that's just the element that Deshaun brings in a game like this when things just aren't going well otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's so key and part of the reason why this offense is so different. You know, Deshaun during the offseason program made that comment that everything's different. And I think you got a little taste of that, even though the passing attack wasn't what they wanted it to be. You know, we have Nick Chubb taking a direct snap early in the game and Elijah Moore with a reverse run. Like, different things were happening than what we're used to. And I think I wrote in my zero story right after the game, like, it still only felt like a glimpse of what this offense is ultimately supposed to look like.
Now, you also wrote in your zero story about one Mr. Nick Chubb. And, you know, look, he's Nick Chubb. He was Nick Chubb again today. I guess that's all. Poor Nick Chubb. That's all we're going to say.
In my story, I wrote Jamar Chase made the comment that Cleveland is Cleveland. Well, what is more Cleveland than Nick Chubb running the football?
Well, the Browns are 1-0 for the second straight season, but for the first time since the Jeff Garcia days when they opened their season at home. So certainly a monumental win for this team over their AFC North rival Bengals. They've got another AFC North game, Monday Night Football in Pittsburgh next week. We're going to cover everything leading up to the game and, of course, everything that happened here today on that field behind us with the elf on it. It's all at cleveland.com/Browns.